Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is March 6, 2021. Someone alerted me about the death of the Houston rapper Chucky Trill, who was shot and killed in Atlanta, Georgia, yesterday on March 5th at the age of 33. And it looks like his death is purely connected to the upcoming All-Star game that's going to be played tomorrow on March 7th. Team LeBron versus Team Durant. And this looks like another ritual for LeBron James. This death reminds me a lot of the rapper King Von. This death, who died last year on November 6th. And he had the album called LeVon James. And he died in connection to LeBron James. And it was all connected to the NBA Finals last year. This rapper, his death looks like it's connected to the All-Star game, and we're going to look at if it's connected to the upcoming NBA Finals as well. So look at the headline. It says, Houston rapper Chucky Trill shot, killed before All-Star weekend in Atlanta. Manager confirms. An up-and-coming rapper from Houston was killed in a shooting Friday morning in Atlanta. Chucky Trill, whose real name is Corey DeTiege, was in Atlanta to perform at a virtual event and made music connections during the NBA All-Star weekend, according to Bonafide Management. According to the Gwinnett County Police, the department responded to the shooting before 3 a.m. on Interstate 85 south near Jimmy Carter Boulevard. When officers arrived on the scene, they found a stopped vehicle and one male victim. Police believe the shooting had taken place on the interstate. DeTiege was shot at least once and died at the hospital, police said. DeTiege, who is from South Park, tweeted many connections to the rap community in Houston. His father was a rapper in the group Trinity Garden Cartel back in the 90s on the Rap-A-Lot record, while he was also managed by Bone of Bonafide Entertainment, who also manages Bun B. Okay, so supposedly he was shot in the interstate, right? Now notice all the details that they gave out, right? So they shot him a little before 3 a.m. Now I'm curious to know if they shot him at 2:57 a.m., right? Because blood sacrifice is 2:57, just like Los Angeles Lakers. But and then it happened on Interstate 85. The word basketball is 85. And what's also interesting about all this is that it happened near Jimmy Carter Boulevard. And we're going to talk about Jimmy Carter, right? The 39th U.S. president, who's 96 years old right now. That's an important number to LeBron James as well. But we're going to talk about all these things and also point out some of the things that we talked about when King Von died, right? King Von, the Chicago rapper. This rapper is from Houston, so but he was killed in Georgia. And we get a lot of deaths coming out of Georgia because Georgia has that Gematria of 44, like shooting and execution. But let's start here. So this rapper, he was born Corey DeTiege. His name was 121 and 67, just like blood sacrifice. And I looked on his social media. This rapper was born on January 24th, 1988. He was 33. So he turned 33 on the 24th of the year, on the 24th day of the year. And he was also born on the day with 33 numerology. January 24th, 1988, that's a day with 33 numerology. He died at the age of 33. And of course, 33 is a big number with LeBron, right? LeBron is 33. And he died yesterday on March 5th. He died on LeBron James' 66th day of his age. LeBron is 66. LeBron James is 66. Lakers 66. Of course, the All-Star game is tomorrow on the 66th day of the year. And like how, we've been talking about LeBron James, if he wins back-to-back championships, he'll end up 6-6 in NBA Finals. So there's a lot of things here, right? But notice this, right? So the rapper, he was born January 24th. The All-Star game, because this is all connected to the All-Star game, like how they pointed out in the headline, right? He died. He's supposed to be in Atlanta trying to make connections during All-Star game weekend. So it's obvious that his management, so the people that control this artist, told him, listen, we're going to pay for your flight to Atlanta. We want you to go out there, meet some new rappers, get friendly with them so he can probably help your rap career. That's probably what they told him, just to get him to go out there. It's because they had his death planned. And I'm going to prove that in this video, because there's a lot of things that, you could be one of the dumbest people on earth, but once you see all the things that I'm going to point out, it's going to be undeniable. Even the dumbest people on earth are going to be like, you know what? This kind of makes sense. But the rapper was born January 24th, and the All-Star Game comes 42 days after his birthday. Of course, that's the number stamped on black people, right? The N-word is 42, slavery is 42, February Black History Month sums to 42. And of course, LeBron James sums to 42, right? And LeBron James's team on the All-Star Game, they're called Team LeBron. And Team LeBron has that Gematria of 42 as well. It's just unbelievable how they code the same number using different words, right? So the All-Star Game comes 42 days after this rapper's birthday. And he died on March 5th, right? 3/5, like 35. His surname, the Tej, sums to 35, just like rap. So many rap rituals in connection to the number 35. I mean, I talk about that number every single time when it comes to rappers. Literally every time. Spengali's 35, Catholic is 35, and of course King James is 35, right? This is all connected to LeBron James. Those of you not familiar with Spengali, you should look up the definition. That is the evil hand in the music industry that makes rappers and people do things that probably they wouldn't do. And it's the Catholic Church. That's why it has the same gematria. So you want to know who the Spengali is? It's the Jesuits, it's the Catholic Church. It's these higher ups at the music industry that control these rappers, that gave these rappers their careers. And just look at the hand symbols that he's doing, right? He's throwing up the 3 fingers on each side. That's 33, right? He died at 33, born on the day with 33 numerology. Of course, that's all Masonry. Masonry loves that number 33. But he died on March 5th, which is the 64th day of the year. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? He died on the 64th day of the year, like how King Von died on the 311th day of the year, the 64th prime. But we'll get into King Von in a second. But shooting is 44. Georgia's 44. And execution is 44. We get so many shootings out of Georgia. It's just unbelievable. So many rappers die in Atlanta. The word kill is 44 and 64. He died on the 64th day of the year in Georgia in a shooting. Go figure, right? And notice, March 5th, the 64th day of the year. Just like how Mr. 64, King Von, died on the 311th day of the year, the 64th prime. But this rapper, he had a project called Cartel Baby. He was about to release his project. I'm not sure if he already released it, because I don't listen to this guy. I never heard of him before. This is my first time. Chucky Trill. Cartel Baby. That's what he called it. And notice the Gematria Cartel Baby. 35 and 64. Like how he died on March 5th on the 64th day of the year. Can you believe that? So, yes. Those of you who are watching this video for the first time have no idea what I'm talking about and can't wait for the video to be over to go to the comment section and say that I'm an idiot, that I'm a conspiracy theorist. How can you explain this? The guy had a project out that was about to be released soon called Cartel Baby. He dies on March 5th, the 64th day of the year. The gematria of his project's name sums to 35 and 64, like how he died on 3/5, the 64th day of the year. I mean, come on. Can you explain that? Please go to the comment section and give me an explanation for that. Tell me how that's a coincidence. Being that this rapper died on Jimmy Carter Boulevard, I looked up the 39th president, Jimmy Carter's birthday. And like I said, he's 96, and that's a big number with LeBron, right? LeBron is 96, right? This happened in Jimmy Carter Boulevard. And Jimmy Carter was born on October 1st, 1001. 10/1, like 101. It's also a big number with Kobe Bryant, 101, right? Kobe Bryant died on Interstate 101 as well. But from Jimmy Carter's 96th birthday to the death of this rapper was 155 days later, and Chucky Trill sums to 155, right? He died on Jimmy Carter Boulevard. And something about Jimmy Carter that I want to make a prediction. Being that he's 96, you know, the name Carter, sums to 97. The word death also sums to 97. So I think Jimmy Carter is going to die at the age of 97. So he's 96 years old right now. So he could possibly die this year after he turns 97, or he could probably die next year in 2022. But he's definitely, I'm not going to say definitely because, again, this is the prediction. But I am almost certain that he's going to die at the age of 97. Because 97 is a very faithful number. The word death in Gematria sums to 97, just like his surname. And think about how the rapper Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, you know, he became popular in the year 97, right after the notorious B.I.G. was killed in 97. So Carter 97, you know, they pay a lot of tributes to, you know, there's a lot of tributes in history with those two connections, right? The name and the number. We've seen it with rappers, and I think we're also going to see it with the 39th president, Jimmy Carter. I think he's going to die at the age of 97. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But either way, this stuff is really undeniable. I think we've made pretty much a lot of predictions in the past to confirm that this stuff is no coincidence. For example, earlier this year, I predicted the death of the actor Dustin Diamond. He was 44 years old and he got diagnosed with cancer. And the word cancer sums to 44. I put out a video the day that the news came out saying that he was not going to make it to his 45th birthday. And that's exactly what happened. He died 17 days after his birthday and the word killed 17. So I've made a lot of predictions before. I predicted people's deaths. And I think I'm going to be right about this one. This guy's 96 years old. I think he kicks the bucket at 97. I looked on this rap. Going back to the rapper. I went to his YouTube page. And I mean, I don't know how. I guess this rapper wasn't that famous because he only had like 3.3K subscribers, right? Another 33. But he specifically has 3.31. And 331 is the 67th prime number, like how blood sacrifice is 67 and human sacrifice is 67. So this rapper dies at 33 and he has 3.3K subscribers, really? And then 3.31, that sacrifice number. I mean, come on. And I looked at the description of his video, of his channel, and it says that he had these two projects, Houston to Atlanta, which was a mixtape, and an album called Music for the Soul. And Music for the Soul has that 201 in it, right? Like the Jesuit order. And the other project is called Houston to Atlanta. Houston to Atlanta. And then he dies in that. I mean, it's just, this stuff is really undeniable. And for people to see this stuff like this, I mean, why would he name an album Houston to Atlanta? I mean, a mixtape. Why would he call it Houston to Atlanta when the guy's not from Atlanta? According to the reports, the only reason he's in Atlanta is because of the All-Star Weekend. He went out there to connect with other rappers. That's what his management said. So why does this rapper have a mixtape called Houston to Atlanta? And when he traveled from Houston to Atlanta, that was his last trip because he was murdered in Atlanta. I mean, what are the odds of that? You coincidence theorist. Unbelievable. I mean, come on. Stop. You guys got to stop. For some more coincidences, King Von, right? Murdered on November 6th. He had an album called LeVon James. And you remember all the numbers that I spoke about with the rapper Chucky Trill, because I'm going to talk about those same numbers in this video, in this segment. I'm not going to go through the whole King Von ritual. I have a video out on him. So if you go to my channel and look up the King Von video, I went through every single number that was relevant to his death, right? But I just want to show you the numbers that connect to the other rapper. So King Von, who is from 64th Block in Chicago. He says that in almost all his songs that he's from 64th. He died on November 6th on the 311th day of the year, and 311 is the 64th prime. Like how Chucky Trill died on the 64th day of the year. March 5th, right? And King Von was born Davon Bennett, a name that sums to 64. And was King Von killed in Georgia as well? I think King Von was also killed in Georgia. That's why I have Georgia up here. I could be mistaken about this. Let me just verify it because I haven't covered his death in a while. So, place of death. That would be crazy. They both died in Georgia. I mean, yeah, the rapper got killed in Atlanta, Georgia. Rapper King Von killed in Atlanta shooting. Oh my gosh. So both of these rappers died in Georgia. And one died on the 64th day of the year, the other died on the 311th day of the year, the 64th prime. And King Von had an album called LeVon James, right? And notice the time on the top. It was 64 hours left in the game. I mean, then he had the 64 on his jersey. Then he dies on the 311th day of the year, the 64th prime. And his name is 64. And he's supposed to be from 64th block. He has an album called LeVon James. And notice the score. It says that the home team has 24 and the away team has 6. If you measure from the release of this album to the day that King Von was murdered, it was 246 days. Like up here, they have the number 246 in plain sight. And then he died on the 311th day of the year, the 64 prime. So up here, they was displaying his date of death. They were showing it up here. All right, let's just look it up so you guys don't think that I'm making this up. So let's look up LeVon James release dates. That's the name of the album. It came out on March 6th. It actually came out today, a year ago. And then the other rapper died a day before the anniversary. Oh, my God. You cannot make this stuff up. I'm finding things as I go because I mean it's just I don't need to point out every single thing about the ritual, but it's just amazing how so much things is involved in this, right? The other rapper died on the day before the anniversary. Today's the anniversary, by the matter of fact. So the album came out on March 6, 2020. King Von died on 11/6 of that same year. Just notice, right? The cover of the album had the 246, right? From March 6th, that's the release date of the album, LeVon James, to November 6th, the day that King Von was murdered. It was 246 days. If you look at the cover of the album, they have the score 24-6, like 246, because he was going to die 246 days after the release of this album, right? That's another coincidence I want you dummies to debate in the comment section. He died on November 6, 11/6, like 116. The title of the album sums to 116 in Gematria. And, you know, not only is it 246 days, but it's also 35 weeks. He died 35 weeks after the release of that album. Like how Chucky Trill died on 3/5. A couple of days before the All-Star game that features Mr. King James. And King James is 35. And, you know, LeVon James and King James, they have identical gematria. Write out King James. Write in capital letters. King James, and then he named the LeVon James. I guess that was a play on words. It has the same gematria in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. Right? He died on November 6, 11/6, 35 weeks after the release of that album. And, of course, it was all connected to the NBA Finals, right? But King Von, he died 89 days after his birthday. King James is also 89. If you guys are new here, I know you guys are thinking like, oh, hey, how does King James sum to 35, 89, and 1? Like, what is this, all these numbers, right? So Gematria is a real simple practice. It's the alphabetic order, A, B, C. But instead of letters, they are placing numbers where the letters go. And then they're adding up the values. That's what they're doing with the English language. I mean, a lot of us didn't know none of this because we wasn't educated about this stuff. So instead of letters, just place the number where the letter goes. But there's 4 different ways to do that. You have the alphabetic order. In this cipher, you do A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and so on, all the way to Z, the 26th letter. Then this cipher here, you convert all the double-digit letters into single-digit numbers. So, for example, J, which is the 10th letter in the alphabet, you add the numbers together to make it a single digit. So 1 plus 0, right? J is the 10th letter. 10 is a double digit. 1 plus 0 equals 1. J becomes 1. So that's how you reduce J into a single digit. You do that to every single letter. And then you apply it. Then you apply that number to the letter. You add up all the values. LeBron James sums to 35. These two ciphers is the alphabetic order in reverse. So the same things you did here, you're going to do here, but you're going to flip the alphabetic order in reverse, making A26 and count back down to Z is 1. So those are the 4 base ciphers. So that's why when I say LeBron James equals 35, I mean 35 in this cipher. If I say LeBron James equals 116, I mean it equals 116 in the alphabetic order, right? So LeBron James that was the name of the King Von album that came out on March 6, 2020, a year ago today. And it sums to 116. The rapper died on November 6th, like 116. He also died 35 weeks after the release of that album. 35 weeks is also 246 days. And in the cover of the album, he had the number 24 and 6 coded in the scoreboard. These two numbers connect to the name King James, which is LeBron James' alias, because King James is also 154 and 55. Right? And and then speaking of LeBron James, he tweeted out, "Damn, rest easy, Vaughn. Bronny, Bryce, and I rocked with his music and storytelling. That kid had a damn good future ahead of him. My praise and blessings to his family. LeBron James, King Vaughn." Yeah, sure you did, LeBron. Sure he had a bright future. Yeah, sure he did. Yeah. But what a coincidence that these two rappers died connected to LeBron James on very similar dates. Both dates connected to the number 64. And both rappers having a connection to LeBron James. I mean, one rapper was in Atlanta during the All-Star weekend. The other rapper, and they both get killed in Atlanta. Another coincidence. They both get killed in Atlanta with very similar numbers to their ritual. This is what you call history repeating itself, because nobody seems to notice. And if you add up their ages, it sums to 59. Number stamped on black people. Negro, slave, Rasta blues, all 59. Chucky Trill was 33. King Von was 26. Yep. So I guess I could leave it there. There's probably a lot more to this, but here we are talking about another rapper dead, and people still question this stuff as a coincidence. I mean, come on. Cartel Baby, 35. So going back to Jimmy Carter, let's see if he makes it to 98. I doubt it though. He will make it to 97. I'm pretty sure that will definitely happen. From Houston to Atlanta. Yep. Keep it a secret, right? So yeah. As long as this stuff is kept a secret, it's not gonna stop. So if any rappers are watching this video, you can keep putting that thumb or that finger over your lip, but that's not gonna change anything. You might get the jewelry in the cars now, but you'll definitely end up a headline like this one sooner or later. So thanks everybody for joining us today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.